Antayin ko lang siya mag-live stream and then we'll start. So I'll try to keep this under 20 minutes. But ayun. Kasi since I'm sure na meron kayong gustong erase, tsaka concerns and whatnot, baka mag 30 minutes siya sakto. Okay, let's begin. So first and foremost, gusto ko lang sabihin na thank you for coming. And I'm sorry kung hindi tayo natuloy sa Zoom kanina. I wish you could have heard kung ano yung sinabi ni Nadine Gani tsaka ni na Doc Lil. Kasi when I read this document, parang it doesn't do the conversation justice. Don't get me wrong, maganda naman yung ano na to, yung minutes. It's not bad. But like, ang dami, since Aljay was also speaking nung the discussion, hindi mahirap magsulat ng minutes. So, first and foremost, to our watchers later sa YouTube and Gerald, Joseph, and Judd, lahat ng sasabihin ko right now ay dapat confidential muna. Yung mga re-release lang natin, yung mga makikita nyo sa pub, soon, will be the only ones that can be publicized. But yung mga hindi nakasama doon na sinabi ko right now, please don't say them yet to other people. Okay, so eto, I'll start. So yung nag-attend kanina was me, Aljay, Zed, and then humabol si Daz. Yung mga nandun was the CS admin, si Dean Gani Tapang, Associate Dean for Student and Alumni Affairs, si Doc Lilian, tapos nandun si Doc Isa Yu, yung COVID task force ng UP DCS, tapos si Dr. Isa. Siya yung nagko-coordinate ng mga exams, tas with the other colleges. So, we were 8 people na nandun sa usapin na yon. So, okay. Just to make it clear, noong June 29, nagkaroon na kami ng initial conversations ni Nadine Gani about face-to-face classes. But back then, hindi pa talaga sure kasi. Like, wala pa talagang sigurado back then. Kasi yung mga institutes, naghahanda pa lang sila for the upcoming semester, which is in this August. Tapos they were wrapping up yung just recently concluded semester. Tapos meron pang mid-year yung iba. As you guys know, IC, IB, and IMBB, at saka NIGS were taking face-to-face classes. Yung mga juniors, tsaka some juniors, tapos mga seniors. So, yun yung naging phase-in, parang pilot or like test trial ng CS admin to see how their systems would go in place. And ayun, naman, based doon, ay naging successful naman yung limited face-to-face classes na yun. Very mabosise ang CS admin with safety. They tried to make sure na meron talagang airflow, meron laging certification, tapos yung contact tracing was strong. Walang community transmission within the College of Science. Tapos meron pang libreng yung mga certain labs, mga ilang labs, meron silang rapid antigen test that is readily available for students. Tapos, ayun, meron pang free testing kits. Meron free RT-PCR sa UP system na tumutulong yung CS admin na mag-avail. So, ayun. Meron talagang ganung systems in place. Kaya, yung sa CS for mid-year, walang nangyaring community transmission, walang nagka-COVID. Yes, meron nagka-COVID scares. Yes, may nagka-symptoms, pero hindi sila COVID. Based on those data. Okay. So, as much as possible, yung primary mode of learning for lab and field components would be face-to-face. Secondary mode is online. Merong online modules, tapos, magiging blended siya. Yung mga face-to-face components, yung mga science, SES, yung mga kailangan talaga ng hands-on skills, gagawin siya face-to-face. But, hindi naman nga lahat ay mag-face-to-face. As much as possible, gusto niya maging face-to-face for CS students and majors. Pero paano yung mga ENG students? Paano yung mga CN, CHE, and whatnot na students? It depends. So, bakit siya it depends? Kapag service courses, for exams lang sila pupunta. Math 2X series, for exams lang sila pupunta. Mamaya we'll get to that point. But for, kunyari, Chem 28, tsaka 28.1, Chem major yon. Pero hindi lang naman Chem students na nagtitake nun. Meron tayong applied physics materials na nagtitake ng Chem 28 tsaka 28.1. Meron tayong mga chemical engineering students na nagtitake nun and whatnot. So, kung ganun, yung mga ENG students should also be able to take those classes na mag-deliver sa face-to-face. But then, ayun nga, syempre release ko yung mga concerns regarding specific situations. ine-emphasize ni Dean Gani, yes, we understand daw na meron talagang mga ganitong cases. But yung rules na ito, hindi siya stringent and applicable for all. It's a general rule daw and policy na adopt ng College of Science para ma-push talaga yung face-to-face. Ano naman gagawin sa mga taong katulad ng junior student na burning up ko? Paano naman yung mga taong taga Visayas? Paano naman yung taga Mindanao? Ano yung gagawin nila? We'll handle them on a case-to-case basis, and that is where the CS, SC, and the ADSA comes in. So first off, ito, merong mga students na hindi talaga kaya mag face-to-face. Anong gagawin sa kanila? Working with the institute representatives and the institute admins, gagawa ng paraan para partake pa rin sila sa classes. So, kung merong student na may asthma, tapos hindi talaga afford ma-delay, anong pwedeng gawin niya? Well, pwedeng maka-arrange ng lectures, recorded lectures for them. Kung over the years meron namang mga lessons, lecture videos na available, bakit hindi pwedeng ibigay? So those are a few things that could be done. Pero kung lab classes, yun yung tatry agapan ng institute representatives at saka ng institute admin. Kasi ano yun very specific kasi. Pero paano naman yung mga students na, for example, financially struggling, pero okay naman in terms of health, paano yung mga students sa taga Visayas, Mindanao, or from very high up sa Luzon, doon tayo papasok. We have to look for ways on how to address their concerns. Kung sa remote learning daw, yung ginawa natin, yung ginawa ng CS admin, tsaka ng former CSSC, is bigyan sila ng gadgets. This time around, yung dapat natin gawa ng paraan, is bigyan sila ng pamasahe, hanapan sila ng lodging, yung ganun. So, we have to find out talaga kung sinong students na nahihirapan at paano natin sila bibigyan ng support. So, we have to admit din naman kasi like parang yes, online is good, pero face-to-face classes is a different kind of experience. And ayaw natin ipagkait yung mga estudyante na maranasan yun. So, kung merong mga hurdles that prevent them from going, we have to work together on how to find solutions to that. So, yung isa is IGPs na ginagawa natin, si Doc Lilian, maghahanap ng pera from alumni or from sponsors para makabalik yung mga students na kailangan bumalik. Ayun. So, ayun nga, reiterate, ito lang yung mga mag-face-to-face. Yung mga assessments natin, F2F exams. So, students have to be around during examination. So, merong certain reasons dito na gusto kong daanan muna. Certain points dito na gusto kong daanan. Tayo, alam natin na hindi to ganun, at first, it doesn't sound that good of an idea. Bakit? Kasi parang, is it logical na pupunta ka lang sa Quezon City kung taga Mindanao ka just for 2 exams in like 1 semester? 1 semester is 4 months. So, twice ka lang pupunta sa UP, ganyan. Mahal yung ticket. Mahirap mag-book ng ticket, ganyan. So, ayun, it doesn't make sense. Tapos maghanap ka pa ng lodging. Wala naman nagbibigay ng lodging for like what? 2 weeks, 2 days? Hotel yun mahal yung mga hotel. So, ano yung gagawin ng admin for that? So, yung gagawin is, first and foremost, kung meron talagang problem sa transportation, yun nga, hanapan natin ng paraan para matulungan sila. But, para ma-avoid yung ganung problems, kailangan ng thorough planning. Which is why, kailangan nang i-announce kung kailan yung mga dates ng exams, kailan yung mga dates ng face-to-face events or sessions ng college. Magre-release yung CS ng schedule ng face-to-face exams. Paano yun? Bakit, kailan siya re-release? Re-release siya as soon as possible. I think, if I remember correctly, next week, Monday, if not Monday, by the end of July, before yung pre-enlistment. Yung kailangan lang kasi asikasuhin, kailangan pa makipag-usap sa ENG, tapos kailangan pa makiusap sa other institutes, ganyan. Bakit kailangan makipag-usap? So for example, si Joseph, meron pala siyang exam sa Math 23, tapos meron din on August 16, tapos meron siyang exam sa Joel 11 on August 5, tapos meron siyang exam sa Retec MBB 100 sa July 31. Medyo magkalayo-layo yung mga dates na yun, di ba? Alangan namang pumunta si Joseph sa NCR 3 times, magbayad siya ng plane 6 times para lang mag-exam. Hindi realistic yun. Yung gagawin daw ng admin is tatry na lang makipag-negotiate na si Joseph, i-take niya yung mga exams na yun within a week. So, pwedeng yung pinaka-late na exam, sabihin natin, ano yung sinabi ko kanina? Math 23, di ba? August 16. So yung other exams, baka pwede siyang i-move to week of August 16. Tapos 3 days or 2 days in between, ganyan, para maano niya, makapag-take siya. Paano naman yung housing nun? So CS has worked with the OVCSA at saka OSH para magkaroon doon ng transient housing slots for those who need it. So those who need it, mga people from Visayas, people from Mindanao, ganyan. Kung mag-exam ka lang from August 16 to August 24, you're gonna be given a slot sa dorms natin from August 15 to August 25 or whenever you can go. So yun yung gagawin ng CS admin. Kailangan lang natin i-make sure that it gets implemented. Okay, ano pa sasabihin ko on this? Kaya pinupush din talaga magkaroon ng face-to-face exams is para hindi mabigla yung mga students. Kasi yung na-experience natin right now ay marami talagang cheating. Tapos meron ding nahihirapang i-measure talaga or i-assess kung natututo yung students kasi ang tagal ng time na binibigay to answer. So 24 hours, 48 hours, or minsan 3 days, ganyan. Hindi kasi ganun yung ginagawa ng face-to-face. So, yung gusto sana ng admin is mabalik yung assessment na legit na may measure talaga kung natututo yung students. So, ayan. Okay. Alam mo sasabihin ko on this? Aside from the exams, hindi lang naman exams yung magiging face-to-face, pero yung mga review sessions din. At saka yung mga areas to study. So, for example, yung mga students na pumunta sa UP for a week, they're gonna be, try ng admin na maghanap ng ways for students to, naghahanap ang admin ng areas where students could study in. So, kung sa IC, merong mga open areas doon, pwedeng gawin. Yung CS Amphitheater, pwedeng lagyan ng tents, tas ng tables, para makapag-aral. Ayan. So, yung tayo daw, council, pwede tayo mag-organize ng mga review sessions on ground para sa mga nagtitake. Kung alam natin sa month of August, doon lahat ng mga Chem 16 exams, we can organize Chem 16 review sessions sa CS Amphitheater. Pwede tayo mag-organize ng mga review lectures, ganyan, face-to-face, as merong samplexes, na ginagawa talaga ng face-to-face kami. We could redo that, and the importance of it is, aside from helping students with academic support, nabibigyan ng shared experience sa mga students. Nabibigyan sila ng opportunity to learn with each other, to mingle with each other, ganyan, para talaga makapag-aral sila ng socialize. Hindi lang sila isolated sa room nila and whatnot. Okay. Ayun, yung release of calendar, ayun, kita pala, July 25 yung prospect date. Pero, we'll see. Service courses, it depends. Like I said kanina, it depends sa subject tsaka sa major. Hindi ko alam kung consider service courses yung Chem 28, ganyan. Pero ayun, mga Chem, applied physics students, definitely, they would have to abide. Pero paano naman yung Physics 72, yung 7X series, yung JOL 11, ganyan. Wala pa. Hindi pa sila mag-face-to-face kasi pwede pa naman sila i-deliver online. Wala ring balita kung mag-face-to-face exam sila. Pero we'll see daw by Monday kasi right now, hinaantay pa nila yung mga mga admin, ng mga institute admins. Pero generally, kung nakalagay na sa CRS, final na yun. Okay. So, ito like what I said kanina, bibigyan ng support ang mga students to help them come back to campus. Tayo may role din tayo doon. Kailangan natin maghanap ng ways on how we can support students going back. Okay. Smart Telecom, since we're gonna have lab classes at saka fieldwork classes next sem for select courses, hindi naman realistic na umuwi sila after their lab classes para mag-attend ng Zoom for sabihin ng ENG 13. So, aside from open areas, dapat malakas yung internet para makapag-attend ng synchronous GEs. So, they're having a negotiation with Smart, and kanina daw, okay naman daw siya, pero yung nangyari is na na-block ng higher UP admin kasi daw meron daw utang yung Smart sa UP. Kaya ayun, nagkaroon ng problems. Pero mabagawan naman daw ng paraan to make sure that mas malakas pa yung internet sa college. Okay, ayun. Like what I said kanina, institutes are instructed to have areas available for study. Okay. Yung bridging programs, it depends sa institute na yun. Kasi yung institute, iba-iba yung experiences per institute. Yung mga bridging programs, they are usually done by the faculty na instructors, mga MS students and whatnot. Bakit siya it depends? Kasi yung paggawa ng bridging program, hindi siya pasok sa academic calendar. Ano siya? On a volunteer basis. Bakit on a volunteer basis? Kasi these classes, it's more of a technical thing. Yung volunteers natin, yung mga volunteer faculty natin, hindi sila pwedeng mabigyan ng ibang payslip for this. Yung pwedeng mangyari daw on the technical side, yung months that they've worked sa second sem is magkakaroon ng extension until whenever that bridging ends. So yung extension na yon, application for extension, extension pay, yun yung gagawin para mabayaran sila. But here's the thing, because of those policies na hindi mabago-bago or hinahalapan ng way to circumvent, yung mga bayad ng faculty natin ay it occurs at the end of the bridging program. So, ayan. Yung mga institute representatives natin, so ikaw Gerald, tsaka ikaw Joseph, along with your assistant institute representatives, you have to coordinate with your institute admins. Tutulungan namin kayo doon on anong manggagawin for bridging. So, dapat alam niyo na kung ano yung pulso ng students nyo. I think kay Joseph, alam niya since meron kayong sensing form. Dapat kapag nakausap niyo na yung admin, alam niyo na kung ano yung forward niyo. Tapos kung ano yung kailangang anuhin. But yung pakikitungo, syempre, hindi siya dapat away. Kasi, alliance work to eh. Ganun dapat yung pakikitungo natin. Okay. So, anong sinabi dito? Ito kasi based sa in-interview na students from both face-to-face tsaka ng mga admin ng face-to-face. Exciting nga daw. But ayun, syempre, meron talaga mga issues. Finances and whatnot. Kaya, tinatry talaga gawan ng paraan. And tayo, as CSSC, we have to help find solutions for that, especially sa CS support. Okay. Bakit nga ba nagkakaroon ng phasing in? Bakit nga ba pinupush ng admin na magkaroon tayo ng face-to-face exams? Bakit pinupush na magkaroon ng face-to-face lab classes tsaka lectures? Para maubod yung culture shock kapag mag face-to-face. Kasi inevitable na yung face-to-face dito. We really have to go back. We have to take this big and hard first step. And ito yun. Facing in yung steps na yun. Meron talagang culture shock sa UP. Sa exam season pala, exam era, sa meeting ikaw, Joseph, since pandemic baby, pandemic freshman, hindi mo pa na-experience yung paano mag-exam sa UP. Hindi siya parang exam na na-experience mo ngayon na 24 hours na ikaw lang mag-isa, ganyan. Yung exam sa UP, less than 2 hours, less than 1 hour. You're gonna be in a room with students from all over the college and even other colleges. Tapos, ayan, after the exam, yung mangyayari is mag-iiyakan lahat or whatnot. So, those are some of the good things na nangyayari. And gusto natin maranasan yung mga students ng paunti-unti para kapag okay na talaga mag face-to-face, it's gonna be seamless. Okay. Ayun, release namin na 3 yung batches of freshmen natin. Yung mga incoming freshmen, yung mga freshie ngayon, tapos yung mga sophomores na yun. You guys have never stepped foot on campus. So, paano kayo papabalikin sa face-to-face kung hindi nyo man alam kung ano yung itsura ng campus? So tayo as CSSC, mag-organize daw tayo ng tour. Tayo na bahala paano natin gawin yon. SKL, medyo na-irrite ako dito ng konti, just to be honest, kasi nung na-inaugurate na kami, we suggested this very thing na magkaroon ng face-to-face tour for our freshmen. And sabi nila no. And this time, sinasabi nila, gawin nyo. Okay, we'll organize something for this. But ayun, gets ko naman kasi admin. Kasi back then, hindi pa talaga handa lahat. They were walking in blind. Like they had an idea of where they wanted to go, but like they didn't know how the path looked like. But now the path is clear and they're giving us the go signal. Tayo na mag-organize nun. Yung sabi nila, hindi siya dapat all-in-one, hindi na siya dapat one-time thing, by phases. So, sabihin natin lahat ng IB students na mag face-to-face, bigyan natin sila ng tour for day 1, tapos day 3, another batch naman, and day 4 or day 5, another batch naman. So, ganun dapat doon gawin natin. Walking tour siya of the college. So, that's something we can talk about sa next GA natin, which is on Monday, I think. Pero, hindi ako pwede sa Monday. So, tingnan natin on kailan siya pwede. Yan, mag-adjust talaga kayo sa akin kasi ako share, ako yung magpapadaloy. So, ayun. Ito, please keep this in confidence, okay? I want you guys to say a plus right now na hindi niyo ito sasabihin kahit kanino. Like, i-PM nyo right now. Like, i-chat nyo right now. Hindi niyo sasabihin kahit kanino. Maliban sa council people only. Plus. Okay. Yes, Judd. Bakit? Ba't ka nagano? Okay. Ayan. Ikaw, Kuya Gerald. Okay. Nice. Thank you. So, confidence lang to. Kasi mahirap pa talaga. Medyo volatile pa yung usapan. Pero yung usapan ay nangyayari. Pinag-uusapan talaga na ibalik yung mga jeeps on campus para yung mga students natin na nasa dorms, yung mga students natin na galing sa Katipunan, galing sa SM North and whatnot, madali sila makapunta sa CS. Okay, for context, yung CS talaga is malayo sa Sunken, malayo siya sa mga other areas na accessible sa jeeps. So, pinaplan yung route, tapos pinaplan yung frequency. So, ayan, yun nga lang, it's kind of hard to convince drivers to go back to face-to-face, to take up new routes. Kasi wala namang guarantee kung ilang students ang pupunta. Wala namang guarantee kung gaano ka dami yung students, di ba? So, tas with the prices of gas, with the prices of everything, baka malugi lang sila lalo. So, ayun. In terms of food, ganun din, tinatry nila talaga i-plan out kung sino magbe-bid. Hindi kasi pwedeng order lang, puro order lang. Tsaka hindi rin pwede na isang canteen lang yung open. So, ito example. IM alone has about 190 freshmen per batch. Tapos paano kung kasabay nila yung IB? Yung IB samanting 60. So like 90 plus 60, ang dami na nun, di ba? Tapos sabay sila ng break. It's not gonna be fun. So dapat talaga para ma-decongest, if ever, is magkaroon ng bidding. Pero para magkaroon ng bidding, kailangan talaga ma-plan out yung yung gaano karaming students. And tinatry na yung gawin, which is why talagang kaya talagang nagpo-push na mag face-to-face para mas ma-complete. At saka tayo kaya din natin gustong magkaroon ng announcements na para mas makuha talaga kung ilang students ang mag-face-to-face para mas ma-address yung mga ganong issues. Kasi those issues, you can't address them without that number. Diba? So, okay. Ayan. So, ito. Ano yung pwede natin i-announce? Ito yung pwede natin i-announce. Tapos yung logistical support and whatnot. Si Aljo yung gumawa ng letter right now to ads, ng email sa ADSA pa. So, pwede kong i-send sa inyo. Pwede na kong ipa-check ulit later. Yung mga specific policies that we could announce. Okay. Merong backup plans if ever things go wrong. Okay. Ito yung gusto sabihin pala ng admin, sina Doc Aiza, mga prestige na professors talaga who are very knowledgeable. Alam nila may risk, pero they're doing their best to make sure that those risks are calculated. And meron talagang backup plans for when things go wrong. Pero sige, how do they manage the risk? Doc Gani has a very strict guideline on what happens kapag anong alert level. Sinong allowed, sinong hindi allowed. Kasi merong mga schedules talaga on who is on campus at any point in time. Yung mga people who are gonna be submit based sa CRS pala, tsaka based sa kailan sila mag-face-to-face, Doc Gani always has a copy para ma-make sure na ma-maintain yung allowable number of students per room and whatnot. Bakit ganun? Kasi syempre may CMC. CMC calculates the airflow. Yung airflow na yun, syempre it depends on the amount of people within that room. Kapag you reach a certain threshold, hindi na siya safe, di ba? So yun yung tinatry nilang i-maintain. And then, meron silang backup plans kapag meron nangyaring breakouts. So, of course, kapag tumaas yung alert level, online tayo. Prepared na tayo to go back to online. Pero paano kapag merong sabi natin, sa class na to, merong isang nagka-COVID. Merong plans for that. They're gonna be maintaining that bubble as much as possible. And then, syempre, yung tracing, yung testing, accounted for na yun. Which is why, ina-encourage talaga yung PhilHealth. Yes, I know, I personally don't like the PhilHealth. I personally dislike the PhilHealth kasi alam kong very weird, tsaka hindi naman siya true universal healthcare. But it's what we have right now. And right now, merong free testing sa PhilHealth for all UP students kapag needed. So, that's one thing that can happen. Okay. So, ayun. Vaccination is required. Bakit siya rin require? Dahil nga, it's one way to keep ourselves safe within that bubble. Kung merong mga students na hindi vaccinated, merong vaccination center sa UP, sa UHS, so pwedeng pag-usapan with the admin kung sinong mga students hindi pa vaccinated pero kailangan bumalik, pwede mag-organize ng ganong setup. Pero paano naman daw yung mga students na paano naman yung mga students na hindi pwede magpa-vaccinate because of health concerns? Yun yung case-to-case basis. Hindi naman magiging problem yun kasi meron tayong mga other measures in place. Meron tayong mga testing, meron tayong mga contact tracing, tapos meron tayong bubble. So vaccination is just one layer of protection, pero kung hindi talaga pwede magpa-vaccinate out of other underlying health conditions, okay. Classrooms are not fixed. Ano ibig sabihin nito? In the past, for example, STS subjects cannot be limited In the past, limited yung slots for STS, math subjects, physics subjects, and whatnot. Kasi konti lang yung classroom, konti lang yung capacity ng classroom. Pero if we're gonna still stay online, we can have more STS slots, more math slots. But ayun, syempre, we have to make sure that our teachers are well accommodated, hindi sila nahihirapan sa workload and whatnot. So, ayun. And ano pa? Okay, ito. Alam natin na yung mga certain institutes hindi mag-face-to-face. Like math, tsaka NA. Hello?
Say.
Napindot natin ni Judge. Mute muna kita, Judge. Okay. So, ayun nga. Alam natin na certain institutes hindi pa mag-face-to-face. Like math at tsaka NIP. So, ano naman pwedeng gawin sa mga classrooms nila at tsaka buildings nila? Okay, ito. We can't put a lot of students in a classroom now to make sure that the airflow is proper. But that means we would have fewer available classrooms for our students. So anong pwedeng gawin? Yung pwedeng gawin, yung mga certain buildings na hindi na face-to-face, for example, NIP buildings can be used for IC, IB classes to make sure na magkaroon talaga ng adequate airflow, tapos magkaroon talaga ng social distancing. So yun yung gagawin and whatnot. Okay. Ito, going back to recordings, kasi sinabi kanila ni Doc Isa na isang concern din talaga ng mga faculty tsaka ng mga instructors is merong mga students na hindi talaga nanonood ng recordings, hindi talaga nanonood sa synchronous, hindi talaga nag-attend ng sync classes and whatnot. So she suggested na i-reinforce na yung mandatory attendance sa sync classes. So, ayun, of course, ako sabi ko, I don't think that's a good idea. Maganda pa rin na i-keep yung recordings available. Ito yung rationale ng admin. To make sure that students are students are motivated to attend classes. They're gonna be motivated to attend classes kung walang recording. Tapos, make sure din ng faculty na nakikinig yung students or makikinig yung students kasi walang recording. Like, hindi sila aasa sa mga ganung bagay para maintindihan yung lesson. But then, syempre, internet, paano kung walang internet? Paano kung walang problem? Yung sabi ng admin ay, yung gagawin daw is they're going to try to accommodate them sa mga dorms. para magkaroon sila ng access to internet at makapag-participate pa rin sa face-to-face classes. So, that's one thing that they suggested. Pero ako personally, para sa akin, the most pro-student thing to do is to keep recordings available para maging ano talaga, para maging makatao talaga. Like, why not, di ba? It's easy to record and just like keep it online. Why do you need to, bakit mo kailangan ipagkait yun sa estudyante? So, ayan. Okay. Adjusted period, pinipredict na ni Doc Gani magkakaroon ng mental anxiety, increased levels of mental anxiety, increased levels of FOMO and whatnot. So yung sinasabi niya is tumulong tayo sa pagkakaroon ng counseling. So yung sa admin side, yung gagawin nila is they're going to open up the counseling center ng CS para students can go there to get counseling from professionals. Tapos syempre, reinforce din yung PsychServe. Kaya dapat tayo as CS, SC, makiisa tayo sa panawagan ng USC and other organizations na ma-institutionalize yung PsychServe. Bakit siya kailangan ma-institutionalize? Kapag na-institutionalize siya, mabibigyan siya ng mas maayos na support. Hindi lang siya mag-rely on donor donations and whatnot or IGPs ng mga people who run it. Kapag institutionalize siya, pwedeng kunan yung budget directly from the UP budget. Diba? So, ganun dapat yung mangyari. Okay. Aside from that, pwede tayo magkaroon ng peer counseling. So, before, meron kasing buddy system sa CSSC, especially for freshmen or shifties and transferees, para matulungan sila sa pag-adjust. So, yung mga ganito is tulungan sa pagre-review, tulungan sa pagpunta sa mga events, sabi natin, maskipaps, ganyan. You can invite someone sa para samahan ka. Alam niyo ba kung ano yung maskipaps? Hindi? Okay. Maskipaps was a concert. Like, during December or Christmas season, merong concert sa UP, nag-i-invite ng mga singers like Ben and Ben, ganyan, The Ones. So, kung wala kang kasama doon pero gusto mo pumunta, you can do something similar to this. Okay. Tambayan for orgs, hindi siya big priority right now kasi hindi pa naman sure kung paano. Kasi yung pinaproblema mo lang syempre is pagbabalik ng mga students. Yung orgs, hindi pa siya naisipan, pero nasa mind na nila. But the thing is, para magkaroon ng org tambayan, kailangan ma-make sure that their tambayans are safe, well-ventilated. And ayun, medyo marami pang work that needs to be done there. So, ayan. Anong pwedeng gawin daw in the meantime? Gamitin yung open areas. So, binabalak na magkaroon ng mga tents sa amphitheaters, sa mga parking and whatnot. Tapos pinaplan din talaga na mas maging maayos yung mga open areas within the institutes. If you're gonna go to our institute buildings, makikita nyo talaga na maraming open areas na meron namang ventilation. Meron namang proper ventilation. We could use those as tambayans. You can use those as review session locations and whatnot. So, ayan. Yun yung napag-usapan kanina. So, meron ba kayong mga concerns, questions? I'm sure si Joseph, kanina kasi sabi niya, meron siyang mga gustong i-bring up. What's up?
Actually, most of the concerns I had were addressed with a more comprehensive discussion right now. So, meron akong two things on my mind na hindi ko pa ma-address. One of them is, for example, syempre hindi naman lahat mag-dorm, right? The dorm slots are limited. It's inevitable na merong hindi mag-dorm. And merong hindi mag-dorm. And inevitable then that probably some of them will come from Visayas or Mindanao, far regions. So for example, sinabi dun sa protocol kanina that if there's a COVID spike, fully online CS, right? So for example, what will happen kung sabihin nating mas stranded yung person in Metro Manila? Because syempre taga Visayas Mindanao siya. And sabihin nating financially insecure siya. Hindi niya kaya mag-book ng flight agad pa uwi. So stuck siya in Metro Manila. Can the CS provide assistance? Kasi they said they will provide assistance for transpo, ganun. Can they cover cases like that?
Yes. Nung nagkaroon ng pandemic dati, binigyan ng support ng CS, SC, tsaka ng CS admin yung mga students na stranded para makabalik. Yun nga lang, that time kasi walang maayos na IGP yung CS, SC. So, nahirapan maghanap ng pera. Medyo napatagal yung paghahanap ng pera. Kaya tayo, yung challenge sa atin is to always be ready na gumawa talaga tayo ng IGPs para matulungan ang mga ganong klaseng cases. But yes, mabibigyan ng support yung mga ganong specific situations. Kapag na-stranded din, oo. I think yun na yun. Mabibigyan ng support. Maghahanap tayo ng paraan. Of course, hindi lang yung ADSA pa yung maghahanap ng paraan. Dapat tayo rin, naghahanda tayo ng pera na pwede nating magamit for these specific situations.
Alright.
Nung nag-SEM plan kami last time ng CSSC, isa talaga to sa mga na-plan na namin. Kung totoo talaga magkakaroon ng face-to-face. Pero back then kasi naisip lang namin, seniors lang yung mag-face-to-face. Hindi naman exams and juniors na rin tsaka sophomores. Yung isa namin na pag-usapan was, dapat magkaroon tayo ng IGP para matulungan yung mga students sa mga transpo nila every December, tapos January. Kasi December pa uwi for holidays, tapos January, pabalik to campus, di ba? So this time around, hindi lang ganun, kailangan natin maghanap ng paraan para magbigay ng support sa students na kailangan kapag babalik, papunta, exams, and provinces. So yeah, on their end naman, tutulong talaga sila. Pero tayo rin, syempre, we have to be proactive and find reasons for it and find ways to do that. Nabigla ka ba? Ang dami nating ganap, no? Parang business na.
Well, I'm glad very specific ang initiatives for these kinds of problems. Second concern ko, very specific din to. I'm not even sure kung mapapasok to sa concerns because marami tayong concerns. But for example, say na FTF classes na yung lab, right? Definitely labs. Major labs, definitely. So, what would happen? Kasi syempre, professors, they have academic freedom. And what if mangyari is, may mga students kasi in the CS na wala talagang experience with lab at all. Walang experience with. And then, they're of course expected to attend lab classes FF. And that, syempre, okay, they can learn, right? But syempre, with the current grading setup, syempre, i-grade din kung paano sila mag-lab, kung kaya nila mag-follow. So, is it possible na parang magkaroon ng blanket policy ng blank or even panawagan lang na may ease on that kind of grading because not everyone pantay-pantay with regards to lab skills?
Gets. I get what you mean. Lalo na sa mga hindi galing science high school, no? Okay, ito. I would just like to relate it sa experience ko. Nag-OJT kasi yung ngayon. Tsaka, ayun, yung OJT ko is graded. Bawat galaw dapat is gonna grade. Doon ako sa Terrestrial and Natural Products Laboratory, which is a biochemistry lab, and I've never had any biochemistry experience. So, yung ginawa sa amin na institutionalized within IC is magkakaroon talaga ng ng week or buffer period for students to practice. In our case, 1 month yung buffer practice namin, 1.5. So half ng mid-year is for practice. Tuturo lahat ng mga kailangan namin gawin. For example, chromatography. Okay, sasabihin ko ng mga it's okay kung hindi ko magets. Pero yung lab skill A, lab skill B, lab skill C, bibigyan kami ng time to do all of them. Tapos, kapag second half of the SEM na, doon na kami mag-grade. So, we could do, kasi yung practice na yun, mabilis lang, 1 week to do all of them. Or each 3 days kaya mo nang gawin. Pero you will be given enough repetition to do that para ma-practice talaga for the actual graded part of the course. So, ayun, like what I said kanina, may integrate naman yung pagtuturo. Pero, syempre, since it's an INSTI-specific concern, iba-iba kasi kada lab. Sa IC, masasabi kong ganun yung gagawin. So, sa IB, hindi naman siya necessary na ganun. Ang sinabi sa amin ni Doc Lillian kanina, Doc Lillian kasi is from IB, yung ginawa daw nila is hindi nila ginrate. Yung ginrate nila is yung reports, yung ginrate nila yung attendance and whatnot. Pero yung mismong skills na parang, tama ba paghawak ng pipette, tama ba paghawak ng leaves, ganyan. Hindi yung ginrate. So, institute representatives, ikaw sa MVB, you could have that as one of your discussion points with the admin para ma-make sure na maano talaga.
Alright.
Sa IC kasi yun yung ginawa ni ACES to make sure na fair. Yun yung sinabi niya. Pero sa NIMBB, this is something you could do. If you want help sa pagka-craft ng letter, gusto ko sana ito sabihin. Sorry, go lang. May sasabihin ka?
Well, actually, I'm not concerned the one with NIMDB kasi we discussed this already dati naman and they're very good with the transition. Ang worry ko lang, for example, na kapag dumating na yung time na maybe, alam kong wala pa namang lab yung services, right? Service courses. Or pag dumaan na yung time, for example, Chem 40, Biochem, maggagawa ka ng protein analysis, yung mga hindi under our INSTI na problems. Pero I think since INSTI specific pa naman tayo now, hindi pa naman yung big problems. Okay, that's alright. Yeah.
Right. Siguro kung kunyari Chem 40 is tinitake ng MBB tsaka IB, right? Hindi kasi namin siya tinitake. So, ayan, yung GC natin, pwede natin, kasi hindi ng GC, pwede mo i-PM si ACES, tsaka assistant reps. Pwede mo sabihin, uy, ano to? Yung mga namin students, babalik na silang face-to-face for Chem 40, pero wala naman sila alam about biochem. Ganyan. So, pwede yung erase ni ACES sa IC admin para maaga ka.
Alright, that's solid. Thank
Yun
you.
yung network natin. Tayo yung network. So,
Okay.
alright. Thank you, Joseph. Meron pa ba from others? Gerald and Judd?
Hello.
Hello.
So, syempre, while listening naman, so, syempre, ang naisip ko is, paano saan papasok yung mga graduate students? I mean, as kung may policy na ba, or it will apply din ba, same application din ba to with the grad students? Or how it will be different?
Okay, sa IESM, meron bang IESM kanina? Wala kasi IESM kanina. Even though you requested na may IESM. Pero sabi kasi kanina, yung grad students, yung mga sa kanila daw, sa inyo daw, supposedly dapat walang problem kasi nagtitesis, dapat kayo yung priority na pwedeng bumalik sa laboratory. Is that the case? If it's not the case, we could raise it up as another discussion.
Yes, ayun sa thesis, okay naman na yun kasi I think it's yun nga, na-mention ko kahapon na na siya, established policy na siya as of second sem. Pero how about yung mga lab subjects din sa grad school? Kasi, ayun.
Okay. That's something I don't have an answer for IESM. Sa MSI kasi lahat ng graduate courses, graduate only instis, I don't have an answer for it.
That's naman.
Wait. Kasi yung nasa isip ko lang kasi kanina was IB, sorry. Okay, yeah, we can talk about how we can discuss those.
Yes. Gets naman. Wala, yun lang. And syempre yun nga, yung mga other accommodations din. Is it the same lang din ba with the undergrads?
Yung support? Yes, definitely.
Sige. Kasi right now, ang niisip ko lang naman for IESM is yung, ayun nga, number one is yung sa lab and yung bridging. Siguro it's more on ano na lang talaga din. Discussion na lang talaga with the admin. Siguro, kausapin na lang din na sila paano yung, and the bridging din kung paano yung gagawin. Kasi, alam ko na medyo, ayun nga din yung naging problem namin. Naglalab kami this pandemic dahil puro improvise yung ginagawa namin. So, yeah, sige. I think, and IESM is very, approachable when it comes to, sige.
Right, okay. If you naman though, actually, hindi ko lang kung ginagawa to sa inyo. Kasi sa IC, yung bridging namin, integrated siya sa thesis. Kasi thesis, OJT, tas thesis, pinagsama na. Yung ginawa sa amin is, yung bridging din namin was part of the preparation for the thesis. So, maybe something similar could be done. If hindi pa yung ginagawa sa inyo, maybe that's something you could do based sa lab ng students nyo, ganyan.
Pwede rin. Wait, siguro konting background na lang. Kasi IESM, sa mga first year, mga freshie niya, is they conduct, bridging program sa, yun, sa bago nila sa pumasok. So, research, gano'n. Then, last year ata, nagkaroon ng mga audit courses para ma-refresh lang din yung students. I mean, okay naman, nag-work siya kasi it's more on sustainability kasi there was a time na kailangan pang kumuha ng bio subject ang isang ISM student, lalo na kung hindi siya natural science major. So, just like me, na kumuha pa ako ng Bio 160 for my audit course. So, ayun. So, actually yun, oo. Ang concern lang kasi talaga is yung paano kaya ma-apply din especially yung mga yung pumasok talaga sa ISM ng pandemic dun sa mga paano ma-explore yung nila, yung skills nila na going to the realization, di ba, where na environmental science yung pinag-aaralan namin. So we really need to go outside because that's the environment. Sige, yun lang naman.
Okay, thank you for that, Gerald. Actually, ito yung something na gusto namin sanang kami ng matter pa kami. We wanted to implement, and I think this is the perfect time to insert it or to go with it, is yung town halls, or actually discussions, town halls ba? Basta discussions with the master students and the admin, separate siya from the undergrad kasi medyo mas specialized yun sa inyo, no? So, pwede tayo mag-request ulit ng separate discussion this time around, led by, well, pwede ko naman i-handle if you would like. Pero maganda sana yung nag-lead din ng conversations na ito ay kayong mga MS students. Yun nga lang, yung problem is MSI wala pang so we have to fix that first.
And also yung the fact na may mga masters din in IB, IC, and other universities na yun. Ayun, baka, well, I can only handle ISM. Ayun.
Okay po.
And,
I'll put it as an agenda point para sa next meeting natin.
And it happened na pala yung town hall with ISM.
Right,
Yung second set.
Step 22, di ba?
Yep. Yes.
Gets, okay. Pero since naman, this is a different time na.
Yes.
At mas naging lenient. Baka magandang mas siya. Mas ma-address na. Okay, noted. Thank you for that, Gerald.
Sure.
Okay, Judd, meron ka bang gustong i-bring up? Okay, when will the official announcements be released? Mag-a-announce na tayo ng FAQs, like yun nga, yung concerns na nakuha natin kanina, na nagbigyan ng sagot, pwede natin siya i-release. Yun nga lang, yung phrasing kasi yung worried yung admin, kasi ayaw nilang maaway sila. Like, gets naman, ayaw nilang maaway sila. So, hindi natin pwede sabihin, face-to-face for all. Dapat limited face-to-face for select courses, tapos naka-outline aling courses yung applicable. And then, paano naman yung mga face-to-face exams, anong problems with that? Dapat sabihin natin meron transient, housing, tapos merong in-offer na support ng admin for that. So, ganong bagay yung phrasing na iniisip pa. So, we would release that hopefully by tonight. Kung wala, edi by tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, next week. And then sa admin, yung official announcement, sinabi namin, ASAP na, please, come on. We have to chop, di ba? So, they're gonna be releasing it by Monday, if not Monday, before pre-enlistment. Kung hindi pa nila na-release as soon as possible, pwede naman tayo mag-send ng follow-up email para gawin nila. So, ayun lang naman. Thank you, Judd, for that. Mali yung ginawa mong format. Ganyan dapat. Pero okay. Call out. Okay. Sige. Okay na ba, Judd? How about others? Kasi gusto ko lang i-mention to briefly para Okay, sige. Briefly, lightning rally. Meron tayong lightning rally on July 30. Dalawa kasing graduation rights natin. July 29 for our 2020 and 2021 grads. Pero hindi tayo magla-lightning rally doon kasi nagmamadali doon eh. 2 batches yun. So, maraming tao. And then, so July 30, yun lang yung 2022. Yun yung makakaroon ng lightning rally. So, yung lightning rally, it would happen after the exit of colors. We're gonna be working with Saribuhay, actually, hindi ko sure Saribuhay, pero alam ko Agham Youth, nag-confirm na. tatry kong i-contact ulit yung Saribuhay, Gerald. Tapos, kasi Gerald, kahit di ko na mag-bring up okay lang din naman, di ba? Pero anyway, Saribuhay, tas Anak Bayan CS, and other orgs kung gustong tumulong. Ayun, naku, nasabi na pala, let's go. Lightning Rally on July 30, after the exit of colors. Diretso dapat, as soon as umalis na yung faculty, punta na daw, akyat na tayo doon, kasama sa grad, kasama yung grad students, graduating students. Okay? So, help us get people to join the Lightning Rally. So, especially Gerald na IESM, I think maraming IESM na grad. Tapos Joseph, yung mga NIMBB na na people nag-graduate, pasaliin natin sila. I'm not sure kung paano natin kukunin yung number. Siguro, send na lang sa'yo sino mga sasali, ganyan, para magkaroon tayo ng coordination GC on saan mag-assemble, kailan tayo tatayo, and whatnot, ganyan. So, let's get their names as soon as possible. Okay, another thing for graduation, we need more volunteers. Kasi kanina, nag-dry run kami, ang dami pa talagang kailangang ayusin. Like, we need 3 more volunteers for July 29 and 5 more volunteers for July 30. So, help us get people. Nagtanong na ako sa Cool, pero sa Cool kasi, ang konti lang nagsumasagot. Mas maraming sumagot nung kayo na yung nag-share. Like last time, I was surprised. As soon as I said na, please share to your INSA-GCs, meron na agad sumagot. So please bump it. We just need 8 people in total, 3 for July 29 and 5 for July 30. So please help us. Okay, pasend na lang ulit. Alright, sige. FST month, ayun, si Doc Gani medyo hindi naman naiinis. Kasi sige, sabihin ko na, I'm not gonna mince my words anymore. Yung FSTC, hindi niya gusto na separate siya from CSSC. Kasi daw, merong counterbalance. Kasi daw, it doesn't make sense logically that CS-FSTC represents 1/8 of the population of CS. Tapos merong CSSC na represent yung entire CS body, di ba? So dapat hindi daw ganun. Kung meron daw FSTC, dapat talaga under siya ng CSSC. Kaya daw hindi daw ine-entertain ni Dean Gani masyado yung FSTC emails and whatnot. Kasi daw, hindi daw siya endorsed by the CSSC, which is my mistake din kasi hindi ko sinign. Kaya pala hindi sila nag-reply. Kaya Judge, sabi ko sa'yo kanina, idaan natin sa CSSC channels. So, ayun. Let's take note na lang, and it's even more reason for us na i-push through talaga na magkaisa ang FSTC at saka CSSC. Okay? Kakausapin ko pa si Paul at saka si Nick on how to specifically do this. Tapos consult na lang with you guys ulit kapag naayos na yung documents with it. Pero ayun, unite ko lang kayo na dapat talaga FSTC is part of CSSC to avoid admin complications. So yun lang naman, napasobra tayo sa 20 minutes. Okay, pero pa mong question? Yes, Jod, yun yung ganun, yun. Yun yung dapat nating asikasuhin. ASAP. Okay, meron pa mong question? Go lang, you can ask me now. Pero 5:30 alis na ako or 5:45 kasi naghahabol ako ng bus. Uwi akong Pampanga. So, ayun po. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Judd. How about Kuya Gerald? Yes. All right.